Hey everybody, my name is Clint. I'm one of the personal trainers here at the JCA, and this is my Sit and Get Fit Balance class. So if you're new to the class, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. And I like to do a little bit of a dynamic warm-up, meaning it's going to get us warmed up in the muscles, but not in like a cardio way, but it also involves balance exercising itself. So to loosen up these muscles and get us prepared to what we're about to do, I want you to take your chair and you're going to use the top of the chair rest. Once again, try not to white knuckle it, but just rest your fingers on as much as you need if you need it. If you don't need it, that's great. But what I want you to do, we're going to take this leg here that's farthest from the chair. This is my center line, nose, sternum, navel. I want you to take that leg, go across the body, open it up, big circle, and down. Try not to touch the floor. And we're working the legs and the core. And it does require balance, because if you let go of the chair, you'll realize how much more difficult it is. So I don't count this as a balance exercise, but technically it is. But it uses a lot of muscles, and it's getting the body prepared for what we're about to do. One more on this side. And switch. You don't have to move your chair, just try not to kick it if you can help it. So you're going to go across that center line, up, out, high, away, and down. Now, of course, if you have to touch the floor to adjust, do so for safety's sake. But if you could not touch the floor, it makes these muscles have to work harder, and therefore really get the muscles warmed up. And down. Good. All right, now for the calves, what I want you to do here, once again, rely on the chair as little as possible. Back is straight, chin is up. I want you to go up as high as you feel comfortable on your toes. Deliberately come down slowly, and then toes up. So it's heels up, toes up. Try to avoid the temptation of trying to get higher by sticking the butt back. We still want to maintain good posture and get the toes up. So if you're not used to the toes up part, it's really a bit of a challenge trying not to bend your body in half and rock too much. I've gotten used to it, but I used to be one of those that did this too. It's really kind of cheating, and you almost have to hold on then. Couple more. All right, good. We'll do one more warm up. So on this one here, I'm just going to face this way so you can see what I'm doing. Hands up in neutral, feet close together. What I'm going to do is I'm trying to warm up my upper back muscles. And the reason why this works balance a little bit is because right now, everything's in line with the other body parts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, look behind as far as I feel comfortable. So my body's actually twisting, which is why I want to go slow. I don't want to tweak my back. But my body position isn't in neutral anymore. So that changes things. Come back to neutral, then I turn to the other side. So it also gives a good stretch to the back, but because my head is moving through this plane, it changes how your body reacts to it. So hopefully this isn't difficult, but it does help with balance a little bit. Got one more per side. All right, good. Hopefully that was okay. And we're going to go to the first official exercise. So once again, most of these exercises, I only do one set of each. I'm not really counting because I'm talking to you, but we're going to use the leg that's closest to the chair on the vast majority of the exercises. But you want to keep that knee slightly bent. Locking is bad for the knee and really makes balance more difficult because the muscles aren't engaged as much if the knee is locked. So we need very slight bend in that knee. The other leg, we're going to go forward. Without swinging or using momentum, you go up as high as you feel comfortable, down but don't touch. Once again, unless you have to for safety reasons, up and down. And then as you get more and more confident, then you rely less and less on the chair, hopefully to the point where you can release the chair, but it's there if you have to grab it again or just touch it. the harder you hold on to it, the less it's going to help with balance because it's another point of contact. And we're trying to do this with only the one point of contact if we can help it. And switch. Now you don't have to move your chair, you could just go to the other side of it. But so you could get a better view, I'm moving my chair. Okay. So once again, posture is nice and tall, up, down, and then try not to touch. So similar to lifting weights, my leg is a weight. So as I lift it, I want to exhale, breathe in. Exhale and breathe in. Couple more. And down. Good. On this next one, we're going to do 2 variations of a squat. And the variation is one we're going to actually sit. The other one, we're just going to go down. And this is the one we're starting with, where we just, if you can go that low, just tap the chair with your bottom. Don't sit and then go back up. So first things first, I want a wide stance. Okay. Not as wide as you can go, but if you can, wider than the chair legs. Arms up, that just brings my center of gravity. If you have to go like that, that's fine. But if I go straight down, bad for the knees, and I'm gonna miss the chair. I don't wanna miss the chair. So to do that, I have to stick the butt back. I don't wanna slouch. Keep the shoulders back, chin up, so it's face forward as the butt goes back. Down, just tap, and press against the floor on the way up. So I want you to think less about lifting your body as you do pressing against the floor, okay? So it's a mind-body connection thing. Go down, just tap, press against the floor, and up. So I'm not thinking about lifting my body so much as I am pressing against the floor, okay? But because I'm lifting, I'm gonna breathe in on the way down, exhale as I come up. Breathe in, and exhale. And last 2. Good. So you can check out those muscles if you need to. Now the next one is going to feel a little bit different, similar technique, except for we're going to actually sit. When we do that, our weight shifts back, legs relax. But then we have to re-engage the form to accomplish the same motion. So your body is interpreting this as different because it is different. Before, we never actually sat. We just went down, tried to maintain good posture throughout the whole range of motion. So this is good posture, this is good posture. It's not good posture if you slouch, so we're just gonna bring the shoulders back. However, when we sit, you'll notice as I go down, I sit, maintain good posture still, but I can't just go up like this because too much of my weight's going that way. So that's why the face comes forward, so I have more leverage to press against the floor and then raise my body up. Down, just engage those legs, so I'm able to relax them so I know they're not working. Re-engage, once again, press against the floor, exhale and raise the body. Nice controlled motion. Now if you do have to use your hands to help you get up, meaning to push, I still want you to go do the face forward, and then you can use your hands if your legs aren't strong enough to do this many reps. That's fine. I just don't want you to swing your body forward or try to stand from this position. It's much safer to stand from this position, even using your hands if you need to, and up. Plus, it's much safer if you're at a restaurant or sitting on the toilet or any other chair to not do feet close together. That actually hinders balance. This is much, much safer and healthier. And when I say healthier, I mean safer on the knees, because you want these big, strong leg muscles in the back to do a lot of the work, not the weaker muscles in the front. All right, so this next exercise, we're gonna do heel to toe. And there's 3 different ways I'm gonna do it: easy, medium, and a little bit more difficult. Kind of judge this based on your own ability. If the first way is difficult, I'd stick with that way. If it's somewhat easy and doable, then try to get to the second level, and then you'll see what the third one is. Because all three of these are going to be heel to toe, but what I want to do is still maintain good posture, head level and upright, eyes on the horizon. Slowly go heel to toe. And it's not a race, so you don't have to go quickly. Just try to focus on your breathing. Take your time. Gotta go back. So you want your core engaged, posture is upright. Alright. So once again, you kind of have to judge how that was for you. If it was pretty easy, then definitely do this next one. If it wasn't so easy, or especially your first time doing it, we're going to do this 2 more times, so just do this the way I just showed you. On this next one, what I'm going to do is slightly turn my head to the right, and then all the way to the left, as I'm still doing the heel to toe. So this is going to make it a little bit tougher. Once again, it's still slow and controlled, deliberate motion. Not too quickly, because I don't want to sprain my neck, snapping my head to the side. I suppose you can make it a little bit more difficult if you're trying to chew gum and do this at the same time. I'm not going to dare try that, because I'll probably embarrass myself on camera. It's hard enough to talk and do this at the same time. All right, but that's the part of balance. If it's too easy, it means your body's already acclimated to it, and your body has no real reason to try to improve. So if it's challenging but safe, then that's where you want to be, in that one zone where it's not exactly in your comfort zone, but still safe to do it. So you force your body to adapt, and then hopefully with practice that gets easier, and then you could go to more difficult types of exercises. Speaking of which, this next one's tougher for me, where I'm going to look up and then look down. Deliberate, not too fast head motion while still doing the heel to toe. So just like I'm doing now, you probably notice I slowed down a little bit, because this one's more difficult for me. All right, back that way. Nice, slow and controlled motion. All right, how you do? How did you do? Hopefully okay. We'll need our chair again. All right, so on this next one, we're going to go in all 3 directions. We started with the front raise, now we're going to do the lateral, out to the side. So the same technique applies as far as the other side. Gently touch, knee slightly bent, out to the side, back to neutral. Once again, try not to touch the floor if you could help it. And just repeat that motion. But once again, it's deliberate. I'm not swinging. I don't want to use momentum. Momentum will help me finish the set earlier, but it doesn't help with balance. Couple more. And down. Good. Do the same thing on the other side. All right. Once again, out slowly and back down. Keeping that supportive leg slightly bent. And just a couple more reps. Exhale and breathe in. Good. All right, on this next one, I'm going to use my light object. Now this is easier to use if you have a light object as opposed to just your hands, but if you don't have something handy, then you could use your hands. What I'm going to do to make this more tough, feet close together, because it is more challenging than like this. However, once again, depending on your own balance abilities, you could go like this, or feet close together. Just remember, this is a little tougher. Now with my ball, I want to go down as close to the floor as I can. So I got to bend the knees, bend at the waist, keep this ball close to my body as I go down. Now as I come up, out, away from the body. Now there's two ways of doing this one. If this one's still challenging, then don't look at the ball. Just go to that range of motion. If you need a little bit more challenge, then keep your eyes on the ball or your light object the whole time. So I go down, nice and controlled motion up. You notice my head position changes, and this is another reason why this affects balance. Because my head's not still, I can't keep my eyes on the horizon. But you don't want to go quickly, mainly because of momentum, but going too quickly on this could potentially make you dizzy. And of course, dizziness isn't good for balance either. All right, we'll do the same thing on this side. Now, as a quick side note, if you have bad rotator cuff or other shoulder issues like bursitis, you could keep the elbows close to the body and then only come up like this, as opposed to reaching. Once again, just listen to your body. But we gotta do the other side. So down and up. Once again, nice controlled motion. And last two. All right, good. I'm gonna put the ball down. All right, so on this one here, I most definitely need to use my chair because this one's a tough one for me, mainly because of the motion, but also the weight of the leg starts to feel heavy. So I always call it the tabletop. Not sure if that's what other people call it, but that's what I'm gonna call it. So imagine you putting your foot, shoe or no shoe, on a tabletop, and it stays at a certain height. So that's what I want you to do. We're gonna go in a full 180. So I raise my leg up as high as I feel comfortable. Try not to let that foot drop. I'm gonna go in a complete 180, not let the foot drop. And as my leg gets heavier, guess what? My foot's gonna wanna go down because of fatigue, but that's how it's gonna kick into extra balance. Because as you fatigue, it gets more difficult. And that challenge is a good thing. Now you'll also notice I'm leaning in the opposite direction of my foot, and that's because I'm never going to neutral. So my core, which also includes the lower back, is constantly working. And I don't want to overdo my back. So especially if you have an active lifestyle, your back's going to work quite a bit throughout the day anyway. So I don't want to overcompensate by not, or put too much pressure on it by not bending in the other direction. And down. All right, we'll do the same thing on this side. So you may have also noticed on the leg you're standing on working harder. That's because it's holding 100% of your weight instead of just 50-50 when you stand like in a natural neutral position. All right, so now the other leg up. Once again, nice slow controlled motion. Really trying to resist dropping that leg. Now there's no real good place to breathe in or breathe out on this one, so you just try to keep your breathing as natural as possible because I'm not coming down to a neutral position to gather my breath. I just have to keep breathing as I do this. One more time to the front and down. Good. All right, so on this one here, what we're gonna do, because we've already done front, side, now it's to the rear or behind us. So same position as the other two. Now I'm gonna lean just slightly, but I don't wanna overdo where I go back. Once again, close but don't touch the floor if you could help it. And the other thing I'm avoiding doing, I don't wanna do this here, because the goal is to keep my leg as far away from my body as I can, or especially the foot, which requires more balance than having it close to my body. Back and to neutral. one more. All right, same thing on the other leg. So as far as I feel comfortable with just a slight bend forward as you go back. So it is working the hamstrings and the glutes and the lower back muscles. And a couple more. And rest. Good. All right, on this next one, I will need, if you don't have a soft and gushy mat, you probably have a pillow. You can take off your shoe if you don't want to step on it as is. All right, so what I'm gonna do on this one, because it's squishy, it's gonna wobble a little bit. That's what I want. So what I'm gonna do is the foot that's closest to the chair, just like the other ones, stand in the middle, hand on the chair. Now this one I can't come straight down because the mat's in the way. That's what varies this one. I'm gonna come up to neutral and then I have to go out away from my body, which changes my center of gravity because the leg weighs something and I don't wanna hit that. So it's back up to neutral, slowly extend to the side and return to neutral again. Now as your confidence with it goes up, then you could let go of the chair and it's still there if I need to grab it. But you should know instantly that it's going to make this leg work harder because it's trying to stabilize my body position on an unstable surface. We'll just try two more. And last one. All right, good. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And if you also notice, I have the chair kind of diagonally in front of me, because if it's right to my side, it's much more difficult to balance. Plus, my shoulders are healthy, but I don't want to put too much strain on the internal part. So that's why I can reach forward at an angle, much more comfortable position for my shoulder. Knee up to neutral, to the side, back up to neutral. Once again, as my confidence goes up, or as your confidence goes up, you can let go of the chair, or at least not grip it as hard or as tightly. But I'm still lifting the leg, so I'm going to exhale on the way up, breathe in on the way down. Of course, the stabilizing leg I'm standing on needs to be slightly bent so those muscles can activate accordingly to try to keep me stable on this unstable surface. And down. Good. All right, let me move my chair here. Now, depending on what surface you're doing these on, this floor is very hard, so I don't want my knees on it because that would be uncomfortable. So here's my squishy mat. I'll just extend it, and we're gonna do some bird dogs. So what that is when I'm gonna raise my right hand, my left leg goes out. But rather than alternate, we're gonna do all on one side first, then all on the other. So you start being on all fours. So now what I wanna do is, as I raise my arm and leg up, I'm gonna come back down. Now to make it a little bit better balance exercise, I'm not gonna touch the floor with my foot or knee or the hand that's moving. Okay. But it's still lifting, so I'm gonna exhale as I lift, breathe in on the way down. Once again, try not to touch the floor, and up again. You wanna keep that core engaged. And similar to the knee, you want to keep the supporting leg or supporting arm slightly bent. Not too much, because you don't need the muscles to work too hard. But you don't need to lock out the elbow either. And one more on the side. All right, how's that? Hopefully pretty good. We'll do the same thing. You don't have to switch once again. I'm just doing so for the camera's sake. So now I'm going to do my left hand and my right leg. Bird dog exercise. Now, of course, if you need to touch the floor with the limbs that are moving, do so for safety. But if you could avoid it, that's even better. Exhale and breathe in. Exhale and breathe in. We have 2 more. And down. Good. All right. So now, once again, just 1 set per side. Now, if any of these you like more than the others, you could do more sets of the ones that you like. All right, let's see here. Now I'm going to do another chair exercise. So we're going to go in 3 different directions, but this time, each time I come back, I'm going to come back to neutral. In this case, neutral is my knee up. So I'm going to bend a little bit in the opposite direction as my leg goes, but then I correct my posture as I come back to neutral. So my leg's now to the side, so I go upper body to the side, back to upright, to neutral, extend behind me, return to neutral. So that's the 3 different directions. Of course, once again, keep the leg that you're standing on slightly bent, so it's extend, neutral, extend to the side, neutral, and back. Now, it's not really important what order we go in, but it is pretty cool to go in, and a good idea to go in all 3 directions, because it really forces your body to try to adapt and acclimate to the stimulus that we're putting it through. Front, side, behind us. Got 1 more. And behind us. Good. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. All right, so once again, knee up, front, side, and behind. Front, side, and behind. And notice once again, I'm not going too quickly. Because the other bad thing about momentum, it's also increases the risk of injury, particularly to the joints, because it's really difficult for humans to control momentum. So you want to be in control of it, and the best way to do that is to slow down. It's not as easy for things moving slowly to create momentum. And we got 1 more. Extend, 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 and back to neutral. Good. All right, so hopefully everyone did well. Once again, my name is Clint. I'm a JCA personal trainer, and this was my Sit and Get Fit balance class. Hope to see you again next week or whenever you can make it, and enjoy the rest of your day.